Colorado has some of the absolute most beautiful weather in, I would say, and maybe this is biased, all of the United States. But there's one thing that a lot of people aren't considering, and that is natural disasters here in the Colorado area. So if you're interested in learning more about the weather, what to expect, and some of those seasons where you will be seeing more natural disasters, go ahead and keep on watching. Welcome back to Colorado Living. I'm Nicole Baker. Today we are going over exactly that, but before we get started, you know the drill. I have to let you guys know I'm a licensed realtor here in this beautiful state, so if you've been interested in relocating to the Denver metro area and you want more information, go ahead and reach out. My number and email are popping up. If you're not quite ready to reach out yet, go ahead and subscribe. I post videos all about the relocation process every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m., but let's get started in today's video. Getting right into the springtime here in Denver, Colorado, and what you can expect there. There is nothing that I can really tell you that is going to be super accurate when it comes to the springtime, because the springtime here in Denver, Colorado is pretty erratic. Sometimes it's going to be snowing, sometimes it's going to be raining. I'm looking outside in my backyard right now and it is a full-blown rain mess, and it will be for the next probably about 2 weeks just from looking at the weather channel app that I have, and I look at it all the time because I just like to know what's gonna go down. Especially like if you're moving here, you probably are really interested in the weather and like how nice it is. Lots of the times, yes, it's going to be gray out here for the next couple weeks, so I'm not necessarily looking forward to that, especially during the springtime when you're finally starting to get, you know, longer days and things like that here in the Denver area. But it's pretty erratic here, especially springtime and Denver in general. Summer and winter, you can kind of expect a little bit more consistency, I would say. So we'll get into those next, but you're gonna be looking at about anywhere between 40 to maybe like 75 degrees. And I know that's a huge gap in temperatures, but that's just how erratic it can be here. Like right now, it's probably, I would say maybe like 50 degrees just because it is a lot of rain. We had somewhat of a hailstorm, so I'm gonna get more into the natural disasters at the end of this video if that's something that you're interested in, which I think you should be interested in it because of the fact that if you're moving here, you want to make sure that you are going to feel safe and things like that. So if these natural disasters don't necessarily work for you or they cause too much anxiety, I would say definitely stay away from the Denver, Colorado area, but we'll talk about that at the end of this video. Today, like I said, it's raining, sometimes it could be snowing, and sometimes it's gonna be a beautiful sunny day. Like last week, it was probably closer to 80 degrees. I was thinking it was gonna be maybe like 65. I was wearing like a light crew neck, but it actually ended up being really hot. What we're lucky for here in the Denver area is it is typically sunny out here. So even if the weather is cooler, when you have that kind of sun beating down on you, it does make it a little bit nicer and more bearable, especially for some of you guys that don't like to be necessarily cold all the time. The springtime is one of my favorite seasons. Now we are seeing the sun set around 8 p.m., which is just a God's blessing. We're gonna talk about more when we get into the winter time, what we can see for like daylight hours, which could be a big problem for a lot of people. So we will head into summer next. The summertime in Denver, Colorado could be a big issue for you. It could not be a big issue for you. It just depends on where you're coming from. It is going to typically be around 90 degrees during the summertime, sometimes 95 degrees, and sometimes they even hit up to 100 degrees here in the Denver metro area, which for you might be a problem, might not be a problem. If you don't enjoy even just like any time of the year it being hot, you're going to have to move a little bit more like somewhere where it's a little bit cooler most of the year. So that way, you know, you're gonna get a lot more snow there, but if you like the cold, you probably won't mind, right? Here, I don't mind having a little bit of summertime being around like maybe 2, 3, 4 months. 2 to 4 months, just depending on what you consider like hot or summer, right? But that's gonna be your summertime in general. So I would say probably end of May and going into like end of August are your typical summer times here in the Denver, Colorado area. So just be prepared for that. A lot of the locals here say it's just so hot, like when it's 95 degrees, and me from Phoenix, Arizona, I'm like, it's not even hot outside. Like I'm actually enjoying this kind of weather, especially with all the fun activities that you can be doing during the summer here in Denver, whether that be going up to the mountains to do hiking or just walking trails in your neighborhood, walking your dog outside, or heading out to the many reservoirs that we have here locally, not even having to drive too far, going jet skiing, paddle boarding, just boating, hanging out. They have like little like beach areas, right? So anything that you want to do like that, those are always really fun to do during the summertime because you can really cool off. Another thing that's fun to do during the summertime here to stay a little bit cooler if 95 degrees does seem like a little hot for you, we also have lots and lots of neighborhoods have the community center. So they usually have community pools or something along those lines. If you don't want to do a community pool, we also have like a water park downtown. There is also another like water park community area in Parker. That's another really good option that if your community doesn't have a community pool, I think it's about $10 a day that you go there per person. So just keep that in mind too. There's always ways to cool off here. And I don't mind the summer because one, it's short, days are long, and then also there's always something to do to cool you off here versus, like I said, in Phoenix, the summertime, you can't cool off at 120 degrees. No matter if you jump in the pool's hot. Like it doesn't matter. And that's coming from an Arizona local. No matter how nice it is and how you have a pool and all of this stuff, the pool is like a jacuzzi by the end of the summer. So keep that in mind. If you are coming from like Midwest, or you are coming from even the eastern area of the United States where you have tons and tons of humidity, the summer can be absolutely brutal. Even if it was 95 degrees, it would feel like 120 and you're sweating the moment you come outside. Luckily, I've never had to live in that because I would absolutely hate it. And here in Denver, you are in a very dry climate, almost drier than Phoenix, I would say. If you've ever been to Phoenix and you've experienced that kind of dry heat that they have here, I would say it's borderline drier. My skin got a lot drier when I did come here, and it does get dry, especially during the winter time, but we'll talk more about the winter in a couple sections from now. But just keep all these things in mind if you're thinking about the summertime here in the Denver, Colorado area. Like I mentioned before, fall is one of my favorite seasons here in Denver, and it is because it is absolutely gorgeous with the leaves changing colors. I know a lot of you guys are probably moving from states where you do have that kind of like seasonal thing. I never had that growing up, so I just absolutely obsessed with it. And when you're thinking about temperatures in the fall time, you're probably going to be expecting somewhere between we're probably gonna be seeing like 45 to 65, pretty similar to like the springtime in here in Denver. They kind of go hand in hand. They're just, instead of the days getting longer in the spring, in the fall, they're getting shorter. So that is something that to keep in mind if you struggle with seasonal depression, even though it is, you know, majority of the days here are sunny and beautiful and bright, 300 days of sunshine. The days do get shorter within that fall, and especially the winter time with, you know, days really ending around 4:35 here. So keep that in mind. Again, if you don't like that, that is one of the hardest things to adjust to if you don't have that in the state that you are in now. Especially a lot of my West Coast people, they don't really experience that kind of thing because we just don't have that. Denver, definitely something to keep in mind when it comes to that. When it comes to fall, also, you are going to start seeing more snow and things like that. Probably not till late fall, which is nice because you can really enjoy that fall time. Lots of hiking, lots of heading out to the mountains, fun things. I mean, the holiday season is coming, so it's always a good time. You're gonna usually see your first snowfall like end of October, sometimes even later. Sometimes it doesn't even snow until December. It's really, like I say, you know, bipolar here because the temperatures are kind of all over the place, but that's something to keep in mind. You're gonna see fall starting right around that September, end of August, September timeframe, moving into about, I would say, end of November, December. Those kind of go interchangeably depending on the year. Just keep that in mind for the fall time. Now we're talking about winter, and then we are going into some of those natural disasters to prepare for. The winter here is also very beautiful, but I could definitely see why some people that are maybe coming from even snowier states would hate the snow and want to go to somewhere like maybe California or West Coast in general where they're gonna get it like really hot. And that's because the winter does kind of suck. I'm not gonna lie, especially I thought I was gonna absolutely love it, which I do. I really do enjoy the snow and all of the things that winter has to offer, but it does get old. And that's really my major bone to pick with the winter time is those super short days where it's ending around that 4:30 time frame, because it's just like, I just don't feel like I have enough time in the day to get anything done, and you guys might have a totally different insight to that. So go ahead and leave those comments down below whether you are excited for that or not. The snow also has tons to offer, and like the winter time in general, because it does get somewhat pretty cold, right? So that 35, 50 degrees on, you know, the average, right? And I love that. I love being cold. I'd much rather be cold than hot. Again, my biggest thing is the short days. You're gonna see the winter time kind of ranging between maybe end of November, beginning of December to probably about end of February is what I would plan for those winter seasons. And even then, I would say winter and spring here in the Denver, Colorado area are pretty similar because you're still gonna be getting snow in that spring season. Yes, it's gonna be a little bit warmer on some days than others, but they kind of flow in a way. What's nice about the spring, like I mentioned before, the days are getting longer, which is something that I like am begging for by the end of the winter time here in the Denver, Colorado area. Totally up to you guys. There's still lots and lots of fun things to do here during the winter time. Denver, Colorado is like one of those states where people are just so active, like they find something to do no matter what the season is. So I love that about it here. It's very, very, just a fun state to live. So during the winter time, you're gonna see people, lots and lots and lots of people heading up to the mountains for skiing and snowboarding, sledding, that kind of thing. Just having a good time overall. That is what we like to do here during the winter seasons. Some people do ice fishing and things like that. A couple communities might have a heated pool. So if you're interested in that, you might want to think about that a little bit more in depth, but there's a lot of fun things to do here during the winter time. Ice skating, lots of family events. The holiday season is always a good time here because everything's like lit up with Christmas lights, and even the neighborhoods. Everyone has a really good time during the winter. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely think about the Denver, Colorado area. Getting into some of the natural disasters that you can expect here in the Denver, Colorado area. Number one is going to be severe thunderstorms. Granted, severe thunderstorms doesn't sound as crazy as maybe some people make it out to be, right? Like it could be a really bad thing, but it could be a really nice thing. There's always going to be, you know, with severe thunderstorms, there's chance for a lot of flooding. There's chances for hail that can really damage your property and your vehicles. Yesterday was actually a hailstorm with hail, like I swear they were like the size of a golf ball. That's how big the hail was. Thank God I could park in my garage. But a lot of people get really freaked out by that kind of thing. I don't think it's that big of a deal that it would deter me away from moving here, which is nice because again, the weather here is fairly mild and the natural disasters are pretty rare overall, but it's not up for me to decide. It's up for you guys to decide if you're comfortable with that. So definitely plan for some severe thunderstorms. That's definitely what we're gonna be seeing this week here in the Denver area. And I'm kind of here for it. I love the rain. It's like about gonna be like 2 weeks of on and off raining, which kind of sucks because it's springtime. I'm glad that it's finally like light and bright outside, but now we're getting, you know, bombarded with a bunch of clouds. So yeah, anyways, thunderstorms could obviously cause hail, damage to your vehicles, damage to your cars, flooding of some sorts. Definitely want to keep all of these things in mind if you're thinking about natural disasters at all. Another thing you definitely want to keep in mind is severe winter weather. So when I say severe winter weather, I mean either extremely, extremely cold, where we had a cold front this year that was like, I think they said negative, like, and I don't want to sound dramatic, but I really think that it was like -50 windshield, which was absolutely insane. So there's a lot of things that could come with those like extreme weathers, which is somewhat rare, but I just want to make sure everyone's prepared for it. You know, pipes bursting, that kind of thing that could cause some severe damage to a lot of the things, whether it be your car, whether it be the pipes in your home, all of those things could kill a lot of your plants. So just want to be planning for that kind of stuff. And then also just, you know, sometimes we do get a mass amount of snow. And when I say mass amount, I mean mass amount for Denver, where to this year we probably saw like some of the most snow we've seen in a long time. And I think there was either 2 or 3 days out of this winter season that we saw about 10 inches of snow, which some of you guys that are laughing at me probably from other states that it snows a lot more, you're like, 10 inches of snow, Nicole, really? That's it? But keep in mind, Denver wasn't made for that much snow, so there are things that can happen with immense amounts of snow, like flooding and all of those things. So we just want to keep that in mind, especially if you're looking to be closer to the mountains. You're going to see more severe winter weather than somewhere like Southeast Aurora, where I live, in the eastern area of the Denver metro. So keep that in mind if you are not looking to deal with extreme snow weather. Denver, Colorado is probably going to be fine, but still, you want to keep that in mind. All right, guys, next 2 things that we're going to be talking about is tornadoes and wildfires, both somewhat rare in the Denver metro area. Yesterday we did have a tornado warning, which ended up actually happening a lot more east, out into the plains of the eastern side of Denver, nowhere near the city. But it is something to really keep in mind if tornadoes freak you out at all, which I was kind of freaked out the first time I heard about a tornado here in the Denver, Colorado area, but in all reality, they rarely touch anything and they don't cause extreme damage. On the other hand, wildfires, again, they are somewhat pretty rare, especially in the major metro areas, but it is not impossible. We did see a fire in Superior about 2 years ago now, I believe, where it damaged a significant amount of homes and a lot of people were misplaced and didn't have anywhere to live. So keep that in mind. Granted, that was a little bit further out, a lot more open land in that area, but it does get quite windy here and hot during the summer. So things can cause a flame, and if it is 100 miles per hour wind like it was that day in Superior, the firefighters cannot fight those kind of fires because it is absolutely just too dangerous. Keep that in mind if you are thinking about living here. You want to make sure you have the proper measures in place to make sure you're protected and your home is protected. But again, super rare. Just take it with a grain of salt. We can't plan everything out, even though I wish that we could plan everything out. There's a chance for fires and neighborhood fires pretty much anywhere you live, but we want to make sure that we're planning in advance. guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was very informational. I know I had a lot of information in these videos, even weather and natural disasters. It's kind of like a 2-for-1. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps my channel and gives me the motivation to keep making these videos. So, and if you want to subscribe, I post videos every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. And if you're looking to move to the Denver, Colorado area, and I didn't scare you too much on the natural disasters, go ahead and reach out. My number and email are popping up. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.